Welcome back, everybody. I'm here with another Coach Series video. And this series, I wanted to talk about career growing pains. So if you're a member of my email list, I actually sent out an email all about 3 career growing pains that I think are very common for a lot of people. And so the one I want to focus on today is the what's next growing pain. This is what I'm calling it. And you've probably had either a performance conversation with your boss, you might have had a conversation over lunch with one of your coworkers, or even had a conversation recently with a friend, and they said, "So what's next for your career? What do you want to do next?" And you had kind of like that uncomfortable feeling in the pit of your stomach because you're like, "I don't know." And for a lot of you, the dream job video that I recently did, that resonated with a lot of you guys because you were like, "Oh man, I'm in the I don't know phase." And if you haven't seen that video, there's a link down below so you can go back and watch it. But that's very typical and it's very normal. So I want you guys, if you're watching these videos, to understand if you're kind of leaning in, you're like, "Oh man, I wonder, like this stuff is interesting, what she's talking about," is because it's very normal. And career growing pains, they're not talked about very often, but this is the way that I've kind of recognized when I was in a career situation and the job I was in, something just wasn't working. And so again, a career growing pain, the one I want to focus on is the what's next pain. Not really knowing what you want to do next, where you're going to go next, but there's something in your current situation that may be making you uncomfortable. There's something that might be making you dissatisfied, or there's something that just maybe you don't know what it is, but it's off. You're going to work day after day and you're saying, "I don't know what it is, but this isn't it." And I want to tell you that it's okay to feel that way, but what you want to do is you want to pay attention to those feelings. I sat in a career, or actually I sat in a job for over a year. And every time I went to work, I was like, what am I doing? What is the value that I'm bringing to someone day after day? But most importantly, why don't I feel like this job is giving me some type of satisfaction or value? And I don't think we talk about the fact that our job should be satisfying to us. Not just the fact that I'm getting paid for this, but that it's serving a deeper need that I have, and those go back to the values that I have. There are several principles that we learned in the coaching certification program that I went through. And one of those principles is that if you're not growing, then you're dying. And that can seem pretty extreme, but if we think about it, growth and discomfort and things that are making us kind of get uncomfortable in our chair are indicators that we need to move, or that something needs to change. And again, life is growth. If we're not growing, if something's not happening where we're moving to the next phase, we get stuck, we can feel a lot of discomfort, but ultimately, things that don't grow, they eventually die. And I know that seems very extreme, but it's a concept that you can apply to your career. Is it growing or is it dying? And it might be that you need to figure out what can help you make it grow again. So I'm inviting anyone that's interested to schedule a Dream Job Jumpstart session with me. And the reason why this session is so important is because we identify what your core values are, and then we take inventory to see how those values are being represented in your current role. And for most people, they realize some of those values that are really, really core to who I am are not being represented. So then we figure out what are the next steps to help you get closer to a role or a career that are aligned with the things that are most important to you. And when you do that, ultimately you will start to line up satisfaction within the things that you do day to day. And we know that there's a lot of pain for people that just get up and go to work and there's nothing that they get excited or motivated about. And I don't want that to be you, because I know that was me for a really long time in my career, but it pushed me and it made me uncomfortable enough to figure out what it is And I'm so glad that I'm able to share these tips and tricks with you, because I think it's really important to have these conversations about advancing your career. So click the link below. It's very easy to schedule a session with me. And once you schedule a time and a date, then I will send you all the information you need to follow along, do the assessment, and be prepared to have a conversation that's all about you and your values. The next career growth I'm going to be talking about is salary or money. Everybody knows we need money. We want money for growth. And if you don't have a desired salary for the work that you're doing, there's likely some growing pains in that area. So I will see you in the next one, and click the link below to have a discussion with me all about your values.